We can make Commonwealth a real global power, says President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria's fiscal deficit hits 2.23 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of 2021. Twitter confirms sale of company to Elon Musk for $44 billion. Chinese shares jumped, turnaround from declines amid COVID-19 fears as Beijing expands mass testing. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katun Babatunde. A very good morning to you out there. We start by informing you that the Commonwealth can become a real global power with improved collaborations on trade and security. President Muhammadu Buhari said these in an article published in the Telegraph on Monday ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting CHOGM scheduled to hold in June 2022 in Kigali, Rwanda, citing the efforts undertaken by organizations such as the European Union. The president said reducing barriers on trade relations and boosting collaborations on the anti-terrorism fight will help countries of the Commonwealth achieve a united front in ensuring improved economies and security. The Commonwealth is an organization of 54 independent and equal countries in Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Pacific, with focus on working towards shared goals of prosperity, democracy, and peace. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says the federal government recorded 2.23 trillion naira fiscal deficit in the fourth quarter of 2021. The Apex Bank said this in its economic report for the fourth quarter of 2021. A fiscal deficit is a shortfall in a government's income compared with its spending. By implication, a high fiscal deficit means that the government is spending beyond its means. The report said the 12% contraction in fiscal deficit followed a decline in aggregate expenditure in the fourth quarter of 2021. The federal government says it spent 177.53 billion naira on pensions and gratuities in the second half of 2021. This is according to figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria's monthly economic report on federal government expenditure. The report states that 88.67 billion naira was spent in the third quarter of 2021, while 88.86 billion naira was spent in the fourth quarter of the same year. Recently, the Pension Transitional Agreement Directorate, in charge of the defined benefit scheme under the federal government, said it inherited pensions liabilities totaling 129.48 billion naira. So how much is the naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. So we pick up our conversation from the currencies market. And of course, a true global market is an integrated one for global trade where buyers and sellers meet from all over the world to trade with little barriers, of course, to that market activity. To take up the conversation and how the market and, of course, global trade are important for increasing the wealth and standard of living across many nations of the world is the country manager equity, Emmanuel Okwara. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. Perhaps we take off this conversation from the currencies market. How is the Naira faring?
Well, currently, lately, we like this morning, we actually saw that the Naira went from 415 Naira to $1 to 417. That's like it's going on a bullish trend. That's like a strength. It's coming up a bit. But in the past few days, of course, you know, there are many factors that considers this, the fundamental and technical analysis, and also the global economy, the inflation is happening. All this has a global impact on our currencies right now. But as at this morning, from what we saw, the Naira actually surged up to 417. That's a strength in the currency.
Okay. So there's this general notion about people moving into this market, moving into the equities market, moving into all manner of market without having the requisite knowledge where to go to, how to do. What are those things to watch out for before you put your money out there?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very interesting one. People are actually going into participating in the global financial market because this is the largest financial market. Imagine on a daily basis, we have over $6.6 trillion traded volume in the global financial market. That is to show you how liquid and how big it is. And a lot of people want to participate, especially people are doing it online because everything is going online. Money has gone online. But the problem we are having is that people don't really want to sit down to understand what to do before going into this business. And that's why most of those that actually, let's say 40-50% of those that take part in online trading actually experience some kind of losses because they don't really have the knowledge. Yeah. They don't have the knowledge. One thing we need to understand before going into the financial market is you have to understand the principles of risk management. Now, people go into trading online with their family problems. You have to understand that. You have to understand that this is the largest financial market. It's traded on a daily basis. And now there are some factors you need to put into consideration. Number one is the risk management involved. Number two is the knowledge. So we've had a lot of scenery where people say online trading, currency trading is a scam because of losses. But it is not. Because if it is, it shouldn't be the largest financial market. But the problem we are having is that people don't want to sit down to get the knowledge, get the required knowledge that is needed to learn how to trade this financial market. And that is where risk management comes in. Number one, people should see this participation in the global financial markets as a skill, not as a Ponzi scheme, not as a money doubling scheme. One thing we need to look at in terms of investment is compounding. What are we compounding? What is the risk appetite and the knowledge we're having over this? Now, if this is the largest financial market, a lot of people are going into it. My advice and what I tell people is, why don't you sit down, see this as a skill? That means you have to consider 3 P's. The 3 P's are: number one is process, patience, and practice. You have to pass through the process of learning what the financial market is all about. You have to pass through the process about learning what you need to do in order to trade this yourself. And you need to practice it yourself.
Yes, when you're talking about practice it yourself, trading it yourself,
yes,
we've had in the last few years, and especially during the lockdown, we've had the EFCC having to arrest people. We've had SEC, the SEC, having to also go do some enforcement. And most of these places will say, bring your money, let's trade for you.
Yes.
Can you actually give people your money to trade on your behalf?
Well, I would not advise that because during the lockdown, during the COVID, there was a lot of Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is different from what we're talking about. People tell you to bring your money and they will give you a lot of percentage returns. And then when you bring the money, And before you know it, after some couple of months, they disappear. And people say, wow, my money has gone. But what I tell people is this: instead of giving somebody your money, why don't you learn how to trade this yourself? Now, what is this online trading? We're talking about the buying and selling of currencies in a globally decentralized market. It is decentralized because you can actually trade it yourself. Let me cite an instance, a layman knowledge about online trading. Let's say the exchange of a naira to dollar is 500 naira to $1, for instance, and you have a technical know-how of how things work. So you take 500,000 naira, go to a Malam shop, you sell your naira to buy dollar. Malam gives you $1,000. And after a day, based on your speculation in the market, exchange rate goes up to 550 naira to $1. You go back to Malam, sell back your $1,000. Malam is now going to give you 550,000 naira. At that process, trading has occurred, but you have made 50,000 naira. That is trading online. But the difference now is that you'll be trading different currencies. So what you should know is when and how to buy and to sell a currency, which is what I expect every Nigerian to learn. It is very, very simple. Why would I have to give somebody my money and he's promising me 20, 30%? If it's possible or if it's sustainable, why is banks and other institutions not offering that, that are legitimate? They will be doing that. So there's a problem somewhere. And people are rushing in because of the global economic crisis, the standard of living. People are being vulnerable, putting in their money, and after like 2-3 months, they're gone. They've closed shop. And they will say it's a scam. My advice is people should learn how to trade the financial markets themselves. And it's something that can be done.
Okay. I want to take you out of this market now. Yesterday, the news was all over the place into this morning that Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. That's some huge transaction there over
Yes.
at about $44
Billion
billion there. What does this mean for the investing public that one person takes over a huge company like that?
Okay, first of all, what people look at in this scenario is I look at the person involved, his credibility. We're talking about Elon Musk, who happens to be the richest man in the world presently. And right now, he has been to so many companies, pioneered so many companies, and right now, he's coming to buy over Twitter. There's even at the announcement of that, the board made the announcement, there was the share price went up. That's an advantage of those that are trading. You know, Twitter stocks went up. So if you're buying Twitter stocks, if you bought Twitter stocks time pass, you're already in profit. And that's a welcome development to some people, and that will also make people to want to buy Twitter stocks. The reason because the person behind coming to Elon Musk, we already know about his credibility. He has sailed well in the business world. He has done well in Tesla and SpaceX and other companies. Of course, we believe, and from his notes, he wants to actually put things in the right perspective, knowing fully well that Twitter is one of the biggest online social media. So him buying it over and Elon Musk being behind it, for those that are trading right now, is a big opportunity to buy Twitter stocks.
Will it be a wise decision to buy now or to be happy and wait to see your gains grow?
Well, the best time to invest is now. Is always now. Right now, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, you might wait till tomorrow and it had actually, the stock price has actually gone up. You'll be like, if I had known, I would have done this yesterday. So the best time is now. Take advantage of it right now.
Okay, so before I let you go, we're seeing the AFCFTA champion trade by Africans for Africans across borders, borderless trade, with payment platforms already in place for cross-border transaction.
Yeah.
What is your opinion when Africa trades with Africa?
If Africa trades with Africa, I believe that is going to be a huge advantage. Because one thing we need to understand that it's high time that we have this intertrade among ourselves. We have the raw materials, we have the human resources, we have the knowledge. We shouldn't believe that we have to trade with the international community before things get well. Let's learn how to trade. If we trade among ourselves, it will improve the economy, economy will improve, money will circulate among Africans, and the standard of living will improve. Many people will actually benefit from that. It's just like me trading with my brother. Of course, money is changing hands. It's flowing from me to my friends, and before you know it, it's circulating. The economy is doing well. So it's a welcome development. Personally, it's something that I advise. When I heard of it, I was very glad about that. We need to do more about that. Africa with Africa.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you very much
for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So we move on to Surviving COVID-19 series as put together by Boss Day Abel.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
For the past 13 years, I've been in this business. Well, when we started, it was going well, but for the past 4 years now, business is not moving like before. Everybody is complaining, no money, no money, no money. This issue of no money is really causing trouble in the family. Things are going higher every day. Last year by September, attachment was 1,000. Before December, it's 2,005. Can you imagine that? During the lockdown, nothing. We are all inside. Business was not going. We are just eating. Do we even have? We are just managing ourselves. If we eat 3 times before, we are now managing 2 times. We eat morning food around 12. We eat night food. Oh my God, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I know many people who lose their life because of that COVID something. Before the lockdown, if you come to this shop by this time, this place will be filled up. But after the lockdown, nothing. This is almost 10 o'clock. We are just attending to 1 person. If it is before, we have attended to more than 10 people. So it's nothing. There is no change. It's the same thing because the shutdown, the COVID really affected many people. Yes, I'm hearing about it. I even applied to expand my business now and employ more youth. I employ more youth so that they won't be messing about. When the business is going and you employ youth, you won't see guests around going up and down. I have before the lockdown, we have more than 4 girls that are working. We are paying them. But since there is no work, we sack them. It will make them to be going up and down looking for men. If I can expand this business and I employ more than 10 youths, can't you see I've helped the government in my own way? So if they help my business, I will help the youth and it's the growth of the country generally.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of.
Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Now, to strengthen the development of local industries, Nigeria Customs Service has directed that all auction junk vehicles be dismantled into scrap to serve as raw materials to steel industries in the country. In compliance with the directive, the Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has undertaken the dismantling exercise.
If you look at most of these vehicles, example the Peugeot 504, this Peugeot 504, you can imagine how old. And in fact, they are not roadworthy. Unfortunately, the smugglers take advantage, reconstruct them, and use them to prevent all heinous crimes, as far as smuggling is concerned.
We want to take it to our company so that they will turn it into raw materials and they produce other things.
In compliance with the federal government's directive, Kamba border in Kebbi State, considered one of the most strategic in the country, was reopened Monday amidst enthusiasm by all key stakeholders. With this development, the suspended commerce and trade between the neighboring West African countries and Nigeria is now fully back.
We have resharpened our anti-smuggling strategies. We insist on 100% examination. We will not treat kindly on any cases of concealment.
Enhancement of Nigeria's security, for which we supported the federal government.
And to fully harness potential of the African continental free trade area in tourism, member countries need strengthened standards and policies within the region for enhanced partnership of exportable products. This took center stage at the 2020 National Tourism and Transportation Summit and Expo in Abuja.
Government's role is to provide the policy and regulatory framework that would enable the private sector investors to thrive with a view to ensuring good return on investments.
Without the collaboration between the public and private sector, we cannot have a thriving economy.
And we move to the capital market, where the NGX closed Monday on a positive note amid sell-off and buy interest as the benchmark all-share index appreciated by 17 basis points. The NGX all-share index closed at 48,543.36 basis points to reflect a growth of 0.17% from the previous trading day and a year-to-date return of 13.64%. Meanwhile, the market capitalization grew by 45.13 billion naira. At the close of market this Monday, the stock exchange market value closed the day at 26.17 trillion naira at the end of the session. And those will be the opening figures this morning as market is in early trade session. But then the investor sentiments have continued to be on the high side. Away from home, Chinese shares jump, turning around from declines amid COVID fears as Beijing expands mass testing. Boss Stable again reports.
European stocks opened higher on Tuesday as market sentiment rallied after a sell-off in regional markets at the start of the week. Germany's DAX opened 0.75% higher, London's FTSE 0.62%, and CAC 40 France topped 0.27%. Mainland Chinese stocks struggled for direction this Tuesday, wavering between gains and losses. By the close of market, the Shanghai Composite plummeted 1.44% to 2,886.43. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was near flat after dropping more than 3% the previous day, while Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 0.41% to close at 26,700.11. U.S. stock futures were little changed in the early hours of Tuesday morning after stocks bounced in the afternoon and ahead of big technology earnings. Futures tied to the technology-focused Nasdaq index fell 0.06%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 0.46%, and S&P 500 declined 0.57%.
Nekaoko and not a boss of the able, and so this is where we end this episode of the program. Don't forget you can access all previous episodes on YouTube on the NTA's channel. We value your feedback, so keep the suggestions, questions, and of course any other concerns you have and opinions, keep them coming in. Do join us again Wednesday at 3 p.m. for another package. I'm the Kating Babatunde saying God bless Nigeria and do have a wonderful day out there.